गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। All the spiritual practice, as we have seen in our Patanjali Yoga Darshan, is ultimately concluding with one thing, and that is, we have to have a clear vision about how we experience anything in this world. And what was the vision we developed after studying? Now today we will conclude Patanjali Yoga Darshan. Every object, unless it is included in the thought, it is not meaningful to us. 2. Every thought has got two aspects. One is the thought the object aspect, which is inert aspect, and second is the reflection of the consciousness, the Purusha Tattva, in this thought, in whose womb is the objective perception. Such a thought becomes enlivened, and this enlivened thought alone has the capacity to give an experience. So there are now two different aspects. One aspect is a thought containing the objective aspect, the thought proper, and the subjective aspect, reflection of consciousness. All experiences, good and bad, they are taking in these three. But the question is, for whom they are? They are for the Purusha Tattva, who is other than these thoughts. Now, when we are, the Purusha is not able to differentiate between these two and becomes identified either with the object in the thought or with the experience of the object or as the experiencer of the object. When the Purusha gets identified with these three, the relative existence of samsara or the jiva begins. So, when the Viveka Khyati takes place, Viveka Khyati means a clarity in understanding about this. Up to here we have seen in the 25th Sutra. So, as a result of this, the Dharma Megha Samadhi takes place. And in this Dharma Megha Samadhi, Tada Chittam Viveka Nimnam Kaivalya Prag Bharam. Then the Chitta, I am reading 26th Sutra. Then the Chitta becomes introverted, Kaivalya Pragbharam. Now what is the meaning of the Chitta becoming Kaivalya Pragbharam? This we have seen, I am just summarizing. Kaivalya Pragbharam is what? Now the Chitta is slowly reducing the frequency of thoughts per second. And when the frequency of thoughts per second is reduced, the result is that there will be lesser and lesser turbulations in the mind. And the Chitta starts marching towards freedom from thoughts. Now this freedom from thoughts is not by abhyasa. See? If you remember in the Samadhi path, in the first chapter we have seen, how do we attain the Chitta Vritti Nirodha Yoga? Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam. So by the practice. Now we are not talking about practice. Now we are talking about understanding. Like, somebody came to meet me, Swamiji, how can I become like you? I said, Amma, you cannot become like me. Why? I said, because you can't grow beard. Not like that. What is the secret of your life? I said, if you really want, you have to lead your life with commitment. What is the commitment? We decide that I will observe Friday as a fast. So on Friday I will eat the food very fast. So Friday fast. Or I decide that I will go for morning walk. Now this we have to decide firmly, isn't it? Nobody can help us. Can you go and ask the doctor, how to go to the gym regularly? You have to do it. Nobody can do it on your behalf. Yeah, I said, if this is clear to you, now understand. You take a vow, vratam, anushtan, that you refuse to be miserable. See? How not to be miserable? By refusing. Don't cooperate with the miseries. And when such a mind is slowly leading to proper understanding, viveka khyati, thereafter vishesha darshan, and then kaivalya prag bharam, it is now reaching towards the kaivalya, and on the way tat chidreshu pratyayantarani samskarebhyaha. But the earlier samskar, earlier thoughts of our habitual natural living, they will definitely come up. What will be those thoughts like aham asmi iti, mama iti, janami, na janami iti va. This thing will continue. That who is there? I am there. Now this I am there is not a vritti born out of avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, vinivesha. These are not klesha vrittis. See? And in this manner, purva samskarebhyaha, because of the earlier experiences, these things will keep on coming. But they will no more be a problem. For the loka vivahar, for the maintenance of the life, they will be continuing. Now in the 28th Sutra, hanamesham kleshavad uktam. Now even these things will also disappear. Kleshavat. How the kleshas are weakened out, we have seen by the tapasvadhyaya ishvara pranidhanani kriya yogaha. So by the kriya yoga, we get rid of these kleshas. In the same manner, these also, the earlier habits of talking, walking, our own way of life, that will slowly drop away as our viveka khyati becomes deeper and deeper. See, I'll give an example. Recently, you all know, I have discovered for myself one day that rice has been playing a havoc in my life. I just discovered it. Now this is the viveka khyati. After that, now even one thought doesn't come in my mind that I should eat rice. Earlier, I remember morning when I get up, sometime 3:30, 4 o'clock, my stomach used to be in like a volcano. And in that morning, before I could sit for my meditation, I had to eat this much quantity of that murmura. Otherwise, impossible. There used to be a kind of a twisting of the stomach. So bad. How many medicines, everything, nothing helped. The moment this is discovered, viveka khyati takes place, immediately vairagya. Because now it is known that this is the cause for all the problems. In the same manner, when we discover that our identification with the mind and the modifications of the mind is the cause, so slowly we start keeping away Like we have discovered apara vairagya, slowly, as the viveka khyati becomes stronger and stronger, even this vyutthana samskar, they will also die away. So what is the sadhana? Shraddha saburi, have patience. Tan titikshasva bharata. There is no hurry-burry on the spiritual path. If you want to do the things very quickly, we will be finished quickly. So, yatha klesha dagdha bija bhava praroha samarthana bhavanti jnanagnina tatha dagdha bija bhava purva samskaraha na pratyaya prasuhu bhavati. By this Jnana Agni is what? Nothing but Viveka Khyati, clarity in understanding. And nobody can help us. See? The other day when I talked to a doctor here, he said, Swamiji, in this world, the real doctor is your own observation about your own life. If we find out what is that which troubles us, what are the areas which are really creating disturbance, accordingly correct. What is the need of a doctor? Therefore, this samskara, jnana samskara tu chittadhikara samaptim anusherate iti na chintyate. So as the time passes, slowly, our wisdom, our understanding, our discrimination, vivek khyati becomes stronger and stronger, and this will also disappear. Now, as a result of this, prasankhyaane api kusidasya sarvatha viveka khyatehe dharma vega samadhihi. Now when this viveka khyati becomes stronger and stronger, and kusidasya means the one who is totally dispassionate, vitaraga yogi, for him, as a result of this discrimination and dispassion, both the things, dharma megha samadhi takes place. Now his dispassion is what? Not for the viveka khyati. The dispassion is for the siddhis gained as a result of the viveka khyati. And therefore it is only the apara vairagya. All the Ishwarya, whatever one gets as a result of viveka khyati, that he is no more influenced. Therefore, yada ayam brahmanaha sankhya prasankhyanepi akusi daha viveka khyati na kinchit prathete tatopi. So even from that he doesn't expect anything. And therefore, for such a viraktasya yogina sarvatha viveka khyati eva bhavati, as a result of which his viveka khyati is no more interrupted by the earlier habits. This is what happens, in our initial stages of life. Sometimes we feel, I think, my spiritual sadhana is going on very well. I get up early in the morning and I keep smiling at myself. Everything is good. For next 3 seconds. Afterwards, the same old thing. I don't know what happened, I think I have seen somebody's face in the morning. Therefore this has happened. How do you know so perfectly? Yes, I have observed this. Maybe in the morning you are standing before the mirror. Looks like that. This is how our mind, our viveka khyati, our understanding, our wisdom is so volatile. It doesn't stay for long. Now by this dharma mega samadhi, this becomes more and more firm. Now, up to here we have seen, I think in the 30th also we have seen, tataha klesha karma nivrittihi. And as a result of this, our klesha karma, we know these pancha kleshas and karma nivritti, they also are removed because of this dharma mega samadhi. And tada sarva avarana mala apetasya jnanasya anantyam jneyam alpam. As a result, now his knowledge, his understanding, he is now expanding. Now there is no interruption in between. And as a result, he has very little and little to know about anything. Therefore, tada sarva avarana mala apetasya jnanasya anantyat, then it becomes infinite. So, when it becomes infinite means what? Means now there is nothing which in this world will be creating problem for him. He is now firmly established in this knowledge. So, everything looks to be so simple. Everything looks to be so silly. See? You know, when a couple came to meet me from Calcutta, just before coming, and they phoned me, Swamiji, we are coming. I said, come for 10 minutes. I had to go. They came. And after having come, sat, and Swamiji, you tell something. So I told something here and there. And then, we have come to ask you so many things. I don't know what happened. Nothing is coming out. I said, don't bring out. Keep it inside. It's better. See, when the mind becomes extremely quiet, no disturbance will come. And the extreme quietness of the mind can be because of the external forces or internal wisdom. The quietness of the mind from the external forces can be experienced as long as the external forces are operating. Pranabandhanat liyate manaha eka chintanat nashametyadaha. And the mind can be quietened by the pranayam, but the mind can be destroyed only by viveka khyati, proper understanding. So, when this happens, now the 32nd sutra from here will start now. Tataha krutarthanam parinama krama samaptir gunanam. Parinama krama samaptihi. Parinama krama samaptihi means what? When tataha krutarthanam gunanam. Now here there is one very important subject to be understood. You know, this prakriti is for what? Purushasya bhogapa vargartham. Now prakriti is trigunatmika. So the sattva, rajas, tamas, three gunas, they are meant for the bhoga and apavarga. Bhoga is experiences of this world and apavarga is fulfillment. Now, when it is said, gunanam krutarthanam, all the prakriti, the gunas, their purpose is fulfilled. Means what? Now the Purusha is no more influenced, attracted, repelled by the presence or the absence of the three gunas. Therefore, tataha, because of the dharmamega samadhi, now these three gunas are totally discarded. The best example I can think of is, if you have eaten sometime the sugar cane, so you take a bite. If you are in Bombay, you get a nicely cut pack in a sealed packet and then you eat. The very joy of eating sugar cane is gone. You know, it is something like, you eat the rasam, hot rasam with a straw. You can never enjoy that rasam, So, when we eat that sugar cane bite, so we go on biting and at the same time sucking in, swallowing the juice. But there is something still remains in the mouth. So what do we do with that? We don't do anything. We invoke the power of gravity. Isn't it? You simply open the mouth and the gravity pulls it down. Not the mouth, the contents. So, why this is done? Because charitartha gunanam. Now the purpose is over. In the same manner, when by this dharmamega samadhi, when the Purusha is completely separated, disinterested, uninfluenced from the three gunas of the Prakriti, then what happens? parinama krama samaptihi. Parinama krama samaptihi means now these three gunas are no more able to create any problems. What is the parinama? So here it is said parinamas are two types, sarupa and virupa. And the virupa parinama, they are anuloma pratiloma. Anuloma means those which will be manifesting, and pratiloma means those will be withdrawing. And when out of these, when these two parinama are continuously going on, manifestation, unmanifestation, life continues. But out of these two, only one is functioning, the other has stopped. Then as a result of this, the parinama dhara, the flow of the three gunas stops. And then this is called as sarupa parinama dhara. And as a result of this, when this sarupa parinama dhara is there, till then the gunas are functional. And after even that dies, now the gunas become quiet because now they have absorbed themselves in the trigunatmika prakriti. So this is what I said, tata krutarthanam gunanam parinama krama samaptihi. Now there are no more modification. Therefore, tasya dharma megha se udayad parinama kramaha samapyate, and kruta bhogapa vargaha pari samapta kramaha kshanamapi avasthatun na utsante. Then all the three gunas are totally withdrawn. They are completely absorbed in the prakriti. Atha koyam kramo nameti. Sir, what you are talking about is parinama krama. Atha koyam kramo nameti. What is the meaning of this krama, what you are talking? This is now explained in the 33rd Sutra. Kshana prati yogi parinama aparanta nirgrahya kramaha. Is it nirgrahya in yours? It should be nirgrahya. There is no word grahya. Nirgrahya. Now this sutra, the commentary is so beautiful. Here, what is the krama that is being explained? So, parinama aparanta nirgrahya. Parinama means what? I'll tell you this krama in one simple word and then we'll explain, so you don't have to struggle. Krama means a sequence. As long as the three gunas are going through a sequence, till then the prakriti continues. See? The moment sequence is arrested, the prakriti halts. That is what is being done in the japa sadhana when we told you, instead of having a haphazard sequence of thoughts in the mind called as chaos, we are told, now discipline this sequence of thoughts. So you are told, start now chanting Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So now a krama is slowly established. Now further we go, we start increasing the gap between the two Om Namah Shivaya. So when there is a gap, there is no krama, there is no sequence. In the absence of the sequence, the prakriti has merged in its own source. So the three gunas are no more active. This is called as parinama krama samaptihi. Now here, parinama aparanta nirgrahya. Therefore, whatever is the next subsequent parinam, from that you can know what was the earlier parinam. This is what is said. Parinama aparanta nirgrahya. Now, kshana pratiyogi, kshananantaryatma, aparantena parinamasya arthat avasanena kramaha griyate. So what I told you is this. When the first modification is over, Hari Om, this is over. Then again the second one begins, Hari Om. So, the beginning of the second experience, thought modification, the krama is established. This is what is called as parinama grahya aparanta nirgrahya. Parinama krama aparanta nirgrahya. And it is shown here, it is something like this. Suppose there is a cloth which you have not used. I have seen this, therefore I am telling you this example. In somebody's house, I went in Goa, and their house is very peculiar. Their house starts from this road and ends up into other road. The whole block between the two big roads, wide roads, is their house. And hardly there are one or two people. They said, why this peculiar house? They said, Swamiji, when we were here, we were very rich and we used to have so much of property. And that time we used to be more than about 30-40 people. This is how the house was constructed. So, and we have got many new old things, such as, then they wanted to show me the old type of clothes. So they have opened one very old box, wooden box, and see, now these are the clothes which were used by somebody maybe about 300-400 years before. I said, are they still alive or dead? Not the people, the clothes. So they say, no, the clothes are there. I said, let us see how open it. They have never touched them, only from. And when they took it, one piece came in the hand. We took it, the second piece came in the hand. Nobody has done anything to that. But parinama krama, that which was new in the beginning, it has become slowly old. So from the next experience, we know whether something has undergone change or not. This is the meaning. Now, here, Anubhuta kramakshana puranata. So, navasya vastrasya ante bhavati. This is the same example which I told you. Now, there are dvaicha iyam nityata. Now, there are two types of nitya, eternal things. One is kutastha nityata, second is parinami nityata. Now, what is the kutastha nityata? Kutastha nityata means purusha. Kutavasthitaha, like the top of the mountain, which doesn't move at all. Or kutastha is like the anvil. Anvil is also called as a kuta. So like that, the one which is supporting all the changes but doesn't undergo any change, that is called as kutastha nityata. Purusha is kutastha nitya. Second is parinami nityata. Parinami nityata is of the gunas. Means what? There will be lot of changes in the combinations of the gunas. Sometimes sattva will be more, sometimes rajas will be more, sometimes tamas will be more. Their combination, proportion will be different, but the gunas will never be destroyed. Something like that, the river is called as parinami nitya. Parinami nitya means we talk about, the same Ganges which I had seen during my childhood. I am remembering all those beautiful days. It is not the same Ganges. So much water has already flown. It is not the same. So although we call it as the same Ganges, but it is constantly changing. Therefore, changing parinami nitya, and second is aparinami nitya. So, in this manner, there are two types of eternity. And out of this, only those which are the parinami nitya, in them only, yasmin parinamyamane tattvam vina na vinahante, where the essence is not destroyed, like the three gunas are never destroyed, only the proportions change. That is called as the parinami, and nitya is that which is the same. Therefore, avyakta, prakriti, three gunas, they are the parinami nitya, and purusha is the kutastha nitya. Now, ubhayasya eva tattva anabhighatat nityatvam. Why both of them are nitya? Because in both the case, purusha and the prakriti, they do not change essentially. They are the same. And therefore, tatra gunadharmeshu buddhyadishu gunaha parinama aparanta nirgrahya kramaha. Now, between these two, purusha, which is nitya, and prakriti, the three gunas which are nitya, it is only gunadharmeshu buddhyadishu. the Prakriti's Gunadharma which are reflected in the Buddhi, there only the Parinama Krama, the sequence is existing. How long? Labdha Paryavasanaha, till it ends. And in this manner, this Parinama Nitya ultimately ends, the sequence ends. But in case of the Nitya Dharmeshu Guneshu, like the Purusha, there is alabdha paryavasanaha, there is no end. And in this manner, Kutastha Nityeshu Sarupeshu Matreshu Mukteshu Tishtati. So, in case of the Kutastha Nitya, everything remains the same. Purusha never changes. And because we associate that Purusha is, he is now the same as he was in the past. Isn't it? That means you are associating present and past with the Purusha, yes. So this is what is called a sequence. But in fact, Purusha has not undergone any change. This is how, in case of the Kutastha Nitya Krama, sequence is not ending because it has never begun. But in case of the Parinami Nitya, changes in the Prakriti, it ends. And in this manner, when this the Kutastha also is now subjected to this Parinama, but the Parinama doesn't end. If the Parinama doesn't end, then the question comes, Atha sthitya gatya ja guneshu vartamanasya asya samsarasya krama samapti asti nama. So in case of the Purusha, where as well as in case of the Prakriti, in both the places, because being the Parinami Nitya and Kutastha Nitya, there is a constantly change or the Krama or the sequence, whether it will be ending or not. This is the question, because unless the sequence stops, there is no liberation. And therefore, this is said that it is avachaniyam. It cannot be told yes or no. Then you have to understand in its proper manner. Here he has given few examples. Like, one question is, there are some questions which can be replied yes or no. They are called as ekanta vachaniyaha prashnaha. For example, sarvo jato marishyati, all those who are born, they die. Yes. Very clear. Now the second question, om bho iti, yes. Then, atha sarvo mruta janishyate iti, all those who die, are they born? Now here we cannot say yes or no. Then, etad vibhajya vachaniyam, then we will have to classify. How we will have to classify? Pratyudita khyatihi kshina trishna kushalo na janishyate. Those who have discarded all attachment and those who have realized the truth while alive, they are not born again. But those who are not, they are born again. In the same manner, manushya jati shreyasi va na shreyasi iti. Here also, evam pariprushte vibhajya vachaniyaha prashnaha. So we will have to say, manushya jati shreyasi na va shreyasi. Is the human birth superior or not? What we will have to say? Yes, with reference to animals, superior. But with reference to the gods, inferior. In this manner, these questions require classified reply. In the same manner, now this question, ayantu prashnaha, what is the prashna? Whether the samsara will end or not. Because what is the end of the samsara? Sequence ends. And these parinami nitya, the srishti, will be continuing all the time. Now be attentive here, it's a very important topic. This world has been continuing as it is. One child asked me this question. Swamiji, I don't like to say that prayer. It is a lie. I say, which prayer is a lie? Sarve bhavantu suginaha, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. I said, why this prayer is right? Because nobody is happy. How many times this prayer must have been said by how many people? But sarve bhavantu suginaha, nobody is happy. Sarve bhavan niramaya. All are miserable. They come here in our hospital. So this prayer has no meaning. So what will I have to tell him? It's not like that. It is only because of this prayer the percentage of miserable people is less in this world. If you don't have this prayer, there will be more miserable people. Oh, I never thought about it. I said, that's what we are for. Now here the same way. If the sequence is never stopped, and it has never stopped, whether it is the Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar or the present Kali Yuga, this has been always going on. Then there is no liberation, there is no kaivalya, there is no mukti, there is no moksha, there is no emancipation. This is the question. Now, ayantu prashnaha vibhajya vachaniyaha. Now, this has to be explained and answered in a classified manner. What is that? Samsaroyam antavan atha anantaha iti. Whether the samsara will end or not, this is the question. The reply is kushalasya samsarasya krama samaptihi asti. So kushalasya, of the kushala yogi, for him there is definitely no more world troubling for him. Netarasya iti anyatara avadharane adoshaha tasmat ayam prashnaha vyakaraniyaha. Therefore this question, if this parinama krama is not going to be ended because both kutastha and kutastha nitya and parinami nitya, both of them are not going to be over. So what is the position of liberation? Now the reply is this. Those who have followed the path of kushala, the yoga abhyas, come to the point of viveka khyati. After viveka khyati has done, then started practicing the dharma megha samadhi. And when they started dharma megha samadhi, slowly the gunanam, all the gunas, their purpose, prayojana is over. There is no more prayojan. And as a result of this, these gunas will go back to Prakriti as regard this particular seeker is concerned. And this Purusha has always been the same reality. Nothing happens to Purusha. And in this manner, this there is the end of samsara only for the wise. And for the otherwise, it will continue the same thing. Therefore, Gunadhikara krama samaptau kaivalya muktam. Ultimate, the last sutra, Guna adhikara krama samaptau kaivalyam uktam. Therefore, when the sequence of the three gunas resulting into the creation of one after another experiences, when this sequence dies away, that is called as kaivalyam. That is called as liberation. That is called as freedom. Tat swarupam avadharyate. Now what is that? It will be told in the 34th and the last sutra of our Patanjali Yoga Darshan. Purushartha shunyanam gunanam prati prasavaha kaivalyam swarupa pratishthavam chiti shaktihi iti. Purushartha shunyanam gunanam prati prasavaha. Prasava means birth. Prati prasava means absorption. So, here, gunadhikara krama samaptau, when these three gunas and all their modifications and krama is completely withdrawn, then kaivalyam, then that is called as the kaivalya. This is what is established in this sutra. Purushartha shunyanam gunanam pratiprasavaha kaivalyam. Now here we will have to understand it in a very subtle manner because there is a lot of likelihood of misunderstanding. First we will go to Kathopanishad. In Kathopanishad, we have been told the dhyana sadhana. What was told? Yachedvang manasi prajna tajyached jnana atmani mahati niyached tajyached shanti atmani. This is called as the laya prakriya. The process of pratiprasava, the process of absorption. So we, first of all, absorbed the speech. Yachedvang manasi prajna. That means get out of the Vaikhari Vani and come to the Madhyama Vani. What is the meaning of this? When we want to get out of the Vaikhari Vani, that means all the worldly objects of this gross world and their interaction is now stopped. So, apara vairagya. So, yachedvang manasi. Now we have come to the Madhyama Vani. And tad yached shanti atmani, jnana atmani, first jnana atmani. Now we have come from the, we have come to the Madhyama Vani. Now what is Madhyama Vani? In Madhyama Vani, there is this chitta vritti with the three factors. The object, the chitta vritti, and the reflection of the consciousness in the chitta vritti. This is the object in the Madhyama Vani. And Purusha is the illuminator. So, when we talk about Yached Vang Manasi Prajna, we are operating on Vishwa, Mandukya Upanishad. And when we have come to the Madhyama Vani, we are operating on the Taijasa. And this operation Taijasa is called here in this Patanjali Yoga Darshan as practice of Viveka Khyati through the Dharma Megha Samadhi. See? And when Tadyached Jnana Atmani, now from there we come to the next. What is that? Jnana Atmani. Now the sequence of the three gunas is stopped. When the sequence of the three gunas has stopped totally, so what has happened? The three gunas are now absorbed in their own source. In Vedanta it is called as Gunanam Samya Avastha. All the three gunas have attained perfect equilibrium and therefore ended up in unmanifestation or the Prakriti. And as a result of this, now the kaivalya has taken place. Because why kaivalya has taken place? Earlier what was there? Purusha and Prakriti. Now the Prakriti has disappeared. Now only the Purusha is there. How Prakriti has disappeared? Be very attentive. Prakriti is unmanifest. Prakriti becomes manifest, then the three gunas come up. The three gunas establish the sequence, the samsara begins. So when the sequence of the three gunas and their parinama is stopped, Prakriti is slowly attained. And Prakriti is unmanifest. Avyakta namna. Now from our Patanjali Yoga Darshan, the same thought. We have seen that the Ekadasha Indriyani, these are the Linga Parinama, Vishesha Linga Parinama. From what? From the Asmita. And these grossified five great elements, the Indriyartha, they are the Antim Linga Parinama, Vishesh Linga Parinama from the Pancha Tanmatras. Now the Pancha Tanmatras and the Asmita, they are from the Mahat Tattva. And Mahat Tattva is from the Prakriti. So what is meant here? Gunanam Krama, Parisamapti. That means the Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, mind, Pancha Pranas, etc., they are now absorbed in the Asmita. And the Bhogapa Vargartham Prakriti, that one, all the great objects and their Tanmatras, they are now getting absorbed in their source, and both of them together will get absorbed in the Prakriti which is unmanifest. And therefore Purusha is left alone without the company of the Prakriti, and therefore he is called as Kevala. Kevala means alone. This is the meaning of kaivalya. See? So, Purushartha Shunyanam Gunanam Pratiprasavaha Kaivalyam. So, Kaivalya is, therefore, it is Pratiprasava Rupini Vishesha Parinamadhara. So, Kaivalya is what, therefore? Withdrawal of all this expansion of the Prakriti into itself. That is called as Kaivalya. That is why, this we have done in our meditation classes. When you are sitting quiet, first of all you sit quiet and relax the whole body. And when your body's shape, size, everything start melting away from your mind, you have already withdrawn from all your sense organs. Now you have come only to the unqualified mind. No more with reference to the present body. Now that mind has got the samskara, they will also slowly quieten. And then the mind will come back to the source called as the Shuddha Chaitanya. And in that Shuddha Chaitanya there is no difference of knower known. In the same manner, this Prakriti is unmanifest. And withdrawal of that, this Tat Pradhanasya Kaivalyam Purusha Vishesha Upacharyate. And when this total Prakriti is withdrawn, then we say the Kaivalya for the Purusha out of formality. Upacharyate. Because Purusha has never modified anywhere. Purusha has been always Kutastha Chaitanya. He is never changing. And therefore, this Kutastha Nitya being Purusha, even while he was functioning through the Prakriti, he was always the same. Therefore, Purusha never changes. Therefore, the Kaivalya is the only that of the Prakriti, not the Purusha. See, the whole understanding must have gone up and down now. So far, what you are thinking? Kaivalya of the Purusha. Aha! That is why that story comes where the disciple comes to know the truth and he goes away. And the onlooker says, look here, you have got everything from your Guru, you don't even thank. Why should I thank what he has given me? I was already Brahman. And that is the truth. It is not a lie, it's a truth. That is why, the Gurus never expect thanks from the disciples. Because they know. Because they have given nothing. Isn't it? Everyone is their absolute reality. Then what is the problem? Problem is in this whole Prakriti. Therefore, Tat Pradhanasya Kaivalyam Purusha Visheshe Upacharyate. And this is being simply superimposed on the Purusha. Because Purusha is anyway Nishkriya, Avikari, Kutastha. And that is why here also the another definition of the Kaivalya is given, Swarupa Pratishtava Chiti Shaktihi. So, what is the Kaivalya now? The first definition is Purushartha Prasava Gunanam, Purushartha Shunyanam Gunanam Pratiprasavaha. That is the Kaivalya. Or, out of formality, we say that the Swarupa Pratishtava Chiti Shaktihi. The Chiti Shakti, the Purusha, is established in his own self. When he was not established? Consciousness is always consciousness. See? Now take my popular example. Man was always man, even though he was married. And then he suffered because of the Prakriti. What is the Prakriti? The wife. And then Prati Prasava. Then the Prakriti, the wife is withdrawn. Maike chali jaungi. And when the wife has gone to Maika, the Purusha, he has not become man, he was already man. but he was behaving as if he is not man. What is the reason? He was under the influence of the Prakriti. In the same manner, here, Kruta Bhogapa Varganam, Krutau Sampaditau Bhogaha, Sukha Dukkhadi Sakshatkaraha, Apavargaha, Viveka Khyati Rupaha. So there are two aspects of these three gunas. Either we have the Bhoga, Sukha Dukkha, etc., or Apavarga. By Viveka Khyati, we separate ourselves from the three gunas. So, Kruta Bhoga Apavarganam, Purushartha Shunyanam, and therefore now three gunas have no purpose. Therefore, Karya Karanatmana Gunanam, Yaha Pratiprasavaha. So, what is the Karya Karanatmak Guna? The Buddhi, Ahankar, Indriya, and Samskar. All of them are slowly absorbed in the Prakriti. And therefore, samasta vitthana samadhi nirodha samskar. So all these samskar in this mind, they are withdrawn in this nirodha samadhi or the dharma megha samadhi. And as a result of it, tat kaivalyam. This is called as the kaivalyam. Therefore, the kaivalya of these guna, the prakriti. And after that, Purushasya punaha buddhi sattva anabhisandhanat sarupa pratishta. Now this Purusha tattva or the Purusha is no more under the influence or under the guidance or under the torture of the buddhi or the buddhi vritti. What will happen as a result? As a result, sarupa pratishta. Now will be abiding in his own self. And Kevala, now Buddhi will be, he will be only the Kevala. He is independent of anyone. And this Kevala, Chiti Shakti Reva. Chiti is the feminine gender. Therefore Kevala. Had it been Purusha, then Kevala it will be. So Kevala, Chiti Shakti Reva. Tasya Sada Tathaiva Avasthanam Kaivalyam. And actually the Purusha has never changed. It has been always consciousness. Consciousness is consciousness. Whether Jagrat Purusha Waker, whether Swapna Purusha Dreamer, whether Sushupta Purusha Pradnya or the deep sleeper, consciousness is the same. See? When a good thought comes in the mind, it is the mind. When a bad thought comes in the mind, it is a mind. When we see something holy, it is the eyes. When we see something unholy, it is the eyes. See? The more we are able to focus attention on this aspect of experience, then all the dualities are supported by something which is never influenced by those things. And this appreciation is called as Viveka Khyati. Now this Viveka Khyati has to be strengthened through the Dharma Meg Samadhi. And when the Dharma Meg Samadhi takes place, then Purushartha Shunyanam Gunanam Pratiprasavaha Kaivalyamiti. Then the Prakriti, the three gunas are done with. Now we want neither the Bhoga from these three gunas, nor we want any mana buddhi chitta ahankar, the modifications of the gunas for our survival. Therefore, whether the objective world is there or not, whether the instrument through which we are contacting this world or not, both of them are redundant. See? And because of that, the yogis want to get into the samadhi. Because now they have kruta. They have already done with. What is that? The bhoga apavarga. Bhoga they have done, therefore they don't want any bhoga. Apavarga, now they don't want even their gross body, jnanendriya, karmendriya, mana, chitta, buddhi, ahankar. And that is why they enter into the samadhi. Now the samadhi of the yogis cannot be equated to the suicide of an ignorant. Because the Purusha Tattva doesn't depend on this world. Therefore, kevala chiti shaktireva tasya sada tathaiva avasthanam kaivalyam. And in this manner, the buddhi, which is the prakriti of this Purusha, it is for her the kaivalya takes place. And the Purusha has been always free. He was never bound. In this manner, this our Patanjali Yoga Darshan has been completed, and as I told you, all what you have been studying for last 2 years is KG1. Now you have to go and study, practice it. How long? Till Krutarthanam Gunanam Pratiprasavaha. Till all these gunas, when Bhogapavargartha is complete, and Kruto Bhogapavarganam Purushartha Shunyanam Karya Karana Atmana Gunanam Pratiprasavaha. Till then, you have to continue this. In this manner, this whole Patanjali Yoga Darshan is the most wonderful as long as or as far as the jiva is taken as the unit. But when we go into the inquiry of the jiva, who is this jiva? So, the jiva is nothing but Parabrahma Paramatma. So for the jivatmaikya, brahmatmaikya bodha, then we discard Patanjali Yoga Darshan and enter the new kingdom of Vedanta Shastra. But till then, this is essential. We will see in Bhagavan Shankara's commentary. Very clearly he brings out. So, Gunasankhyane yathavat shrunutanapi, he will be classifying in Bhagavad Gita, and there we will be seeing how this is. Therefore, now the complete picture I will give you in 5 minutes. Living as a body is the curse that we all go through. The first step on the spiritual path is suspecting that we are someone other than the body. This is the first spiritual practice. Now this spiritual practice can be done at 2 levels. One is yoga abhyas. What the yoga abhyas? Dharma Shastra tells us that whatever we are today is the result of our earlier existence, and therefore in this life if we don't behave properly, our next life will be miserable. So we are now guarded against ourselves. Then the second step comes. Now this jiva who is living in this body has been always there before the body was born, will continue to be after body is born. Therefore there is nothing in this world to be afraid of death. Abhayam sattva samshuddhi jnana yoga vyavasthitihi. Third thing. We are just tenants in this body, occupying this body which was never created by us. And therefore, anything in relation to the body is only relative. We should not give much importance to that. It is okay. Mummy, daddy, brother, sister, it's okay. You play the game of crying and showing and all that, but don't get carried away by that. Keep yourself untouched. You have to act very beautifully. Bhagavan Krishna did it, we have to do that. And when you thus start living your life with discrimination and understanding, then slowly you will start appreciating all the modifications that are taking place in the mind, kama, krodha, lobha, how we get identified, how we suffer because of our own foolishness. All these things will start appearing very clearly and distinctly. And when slowly the mind starts remaining quieter, no more the worldly things are disturbing, then only one thing disturbs, as to who am I? And when this who am I start disturbing, then like we have seen in the commentary, when the grass sprouts, from that we know there were seeds. In the same manner, when this thought starts disturbing us, then understand, now we have really done spiritual practice, and therefore the inquiry about our essential nature is coming in our mind. And then we take up the Mandukya Upanishad. And there we come to know these Vishwatai, this Prajna, they are like the rope thrown in the sky by the magician, and on that climbing the Vishwa, Taidis and the Prajna, and they are fighting, and their dead bodies are falling down. And this Mayavi, the one magician who is doing this show, he is on the ground, but nobody is able to see him. In the same manner, on the ground of this absolute reality, the conscious principle, these three magic shows of waking, dream and deep sleep are constantly going on. And when the magic shows are going on, we should not, spoil the taste of other people. I know this is magic. No, you also enjoy. You must have seen this thing, when you go with somebody to see the movie, who has already seen the movie. He will not allow you. Do you know what is going to happen? No, you shut up. No, let me see. Isn't it? So we play the game. Oh, very nice, very nice. But keep on holding on to your essential self. And this is how slowly, slowly your Viveka Khyati will become clearer. And when Viveka Khyati becomes clearer, then the next step is to strengthen and to be firm in this discrimination. We practice Dharmamega Samadhi. And when the Dharmamega Samadhi takes place, then all these three gunas, their purpose is done. Then they will be going back to the Prakriti, and the Purusha is always immaculate. This discovery is called as kaivalya. With this we conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.